Rise for the pledge and remain standing for the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful day. Just thank you for spring and for spring coming, and thank you for new birth and new chances and new opportunity. And it's amazing how every season we get to see things change. And we thank you that you are God through it all. It's also a reminder how sometimes things can go dormant, whether it be in our lives or in our community or our jobs or business in general, the economy, and then things can spring back to life. And again, you are God through it all. We just thank you for your guidance. We thank you for your continued wisdom. We thank you for your love. And just help us to be gracious to one another. To help us to be forgiving of one another. Help us to forbear one another. And help us to love one another in this community, to be set apart for you. We give you all the thanks and praise and glory. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. All right. Amy, if you would, roll call.
Gary Elliott.
Here.
Bob Leahy.
Here.
Jason Brewer.
Here.
Tim Heiss.
Here.
Tito Frias.
Here.
All right. I trust you've all had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Do we have any questions, comments? If not, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I do have
Yep.
one comment on it. In the paragraph about Vision Corner, I think it's on the bottom paragraph of page 3. It's written, we are approved for $100,000 per year payback for 10 years for a total of $1 million. So that needs to be clarified with an additional sentence, which I propose now. This money, this is my proposed added sentence. This money will come from fundraising to be done by Vision Corner on an ongoing basis. So it's important to say that because this is from Vision Corner's own fundraising in the future for the next 10 years. And it's not from other grant funding.
Well, it could be other grant funding, but for Vision Corner, not
Right.
for, not pursued by the, yeah. We have a suggested amendment to the minutes. Do we have a motion?
I'll move we approve the consent agenda with said amendments.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Consent agenda approved as presented. We're very honored and privileged to have a special presentation from the fire department. And a gentleman have come here and asked me to read something before their presentation. So the Union City Fire Department Commendation on Civilian Heroism. On the morning of November 6, 2024, at approximately 8:15 a.m., Union City Fire Department was dispatched to the 1300 block of West Hickory Street for a motor vehicle accident, a bus into a residence. Amid the chaos, 2 brave civilians, students no less, displayed extraordinary courage and selflessness while assisting their fellow passengers. Rather than succumbing to fear, these young individuals took immediate action, helping frightened and injured students off the bus and ensuring those in need received aid. Their composure in a moment of crisis was nothing short of remarkable. As emergency responders arrived on scene, they witnessed firsthand the impact of these students' actions. By stepping up without hesitation, they not only provided critical assistance, but also offered comfort and reassurance to their peers in an overwhelming and frightening situation. Their bravery and quick thinking made a meaningful difference in the outcome of this incident. The Union City Fire Department proudly recognizes and commends these 2 individuals for their heroic efforts. Their actions serve as an inspiring example of compassion, leadership, and courage in the face of adversity. So on behalf of our department, the fire department, and the entire community, we extend our deepest gratitude, and appreciation. Their selfless response is a testament to the strength and the character of our youth. And we are honored to acknowledge them for their outstanding service to others. So, gentlemen, if you would.
First one we have is Luis Nieto. Thank you for everything you did that day.
Second one we have is Quentin Charles.
You guys want to get a picture? Hey, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Great job.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Do that every time, because that's awesome. All right, next on the agenda, presenter-wise, I invited Stephen Solstice, and these are these all your brothers? Is that correct? No, sorry. Okay.
Business partners.
What's this? Awesome, thank you. I wanted to at least bring them in because I know we're working through some things with the housing development, and the other gentleman, Rick Ward, is supposed to come here. He's in North Carolina, but he does want to speak to you guys as well, so, and to everybody. So I wanted at least have them here to have an opportunity just to share what your thoughts were, what your plan was, and obviously it involves housing. So didn't know if you wanted to introduce yourselves, at least to the group. And
I'm Stephen Solstice.
And I'm Sam King.
thank you, Sam.
John Latt.
Wilbur Lance.
Daniel Latt Jr.
Awesome.
And of course, we just wanted to introduce ourselves, and we are planning on putting smaller, affordable housing in the subdivision. With, of course, you guys, I'm sure, I don't know what all we need to do to get it through you guys or whatever, but we want to work with you guys on if there's anything we can do to make that happen or whatever. So we'll be there.
Appreciate that.
So-
And you guys had plans for a couple spec homes in the spring, I believe?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
We have, I have permits that are all but ready to be pulled up at Randolph County, so.
Super.
And I guess I was gonna, do we need to get any type of permitting or approval from you guys before we start there?
All comes to the county. I think
Okay.
these guys would probably just love to see the design, just to see,
Okay.
because just make sure it bodes or meshes well with the community that we've been shooting for out there.
I guess
Do you have something on hand?
Well, I think I do, but I'm not sure.
Okay. And if you
I
don't,
think I
no worries.
left it
But
back at the house.
if you don't, no worries. But if you do, that'd be great.
We have all the great ideas and the ability to do it, we just need financing, and you guys are offering.
So, I don't know if this is the time or whatever.
No, that's fine.
These are the first two that we wanna put in.
Oh, super.
So we did a variation of 3 different ones for our, and then we'll probably mix and match them. And there's different lot sizes, so different designs will be coming through as we go too. But
1,300 square, 12?
they're about, right around 1,200 was our
Okay.
goal.
Perfect.
So, of course, we would welcome any thoughts and opinions you guys would have on that kind of stuff.
No,
So
those would be in line with.
Probably 3-bedroom.
They're 2-bedroom, 3-bath, or 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
3-bedroom, 2-bedroom. Assume that square footage.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil, how could we hold those up? Which camera would you suggest we hold those up to so they can be seen well online? Down. Gary, would you be willing to hold that up to the camera when you?
Sure, which
The one behind you.
Behind me.
Sorry.
cover up the bald spot that I always have. All right, you gotta tell me down there whether it's right or not.
I got a thumbs up, so yeah, you can see those. Okay, thank you. Just to give people a chance at home to see what they look like. So, vinyl siding, shingle.
That was the plan. yes.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
You slab or crawl?
We're doing a slab. We're doing slab one, yeah, we're doing slab one grade.
But it is open to buy lots in that custom deal too, right?
Yeah, we would have that open as well.
So if somebody comes in and
Yeah.
buy a lot and have a different home than what we have, we could actually
Okay.
build to your specs
Yeah.
or whatever.
And has anybody on council seen ground moved yet for lot 17? Because that's supposed to be occurring like right now.
Drove by today, didn't see.
You hadn't seen anything? Okay.
A little tough, right?
That's supposed to be, I know that.
Is that the one around the corner?
Yeah, right, yeah. It's,
I was down there last week, I didn't see anything, but I have been down there this week.
I said the electric post, I guess, is set, but it's just, they're supposed to be moving dirt literally any day.
I have one question on if I put a sign out there,
Mhm.
like a 4x8, is there any requirements as far as how far off the road or?
That actually usually signage goes through area planning, but I mean, anything, that first lot, where there's landscape in the front, so anything in that area would be fine, because that'd be far enough off the street that.
I got two signs, and I'm thinking I'd put one kind of on each side of the main entrance, what I call the main entrance. What street is that off of? Plum Street,
Plum
yeah.
Street.
So one would be kind of angled this way for oncoming traffic, and then the other one opposite.
Okay.
And they're like 4x8, so probably plant a couple posts and pop them in there. That's all right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, super. All right, good. Well, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And then our next presenter, I've got to queue up. I apologize, they're not on the agenda, but and that's on me. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I didn't confirm with you that tonight for sure is going to happen, and so we'll make it happen. But we have Brad Hartzell and Stacy Chesterfield from Workhorse here today, and they're going to show you, because we've had preliminary discussions about a new truck for. Let's see if I get the input on this. It act like it was wanting to. Did it shut off on me though?
You need a high school kid.
Yeah, no kidding. Alec would have this set up on me already. Oh, there we go. Now, where's the input down here? That's my.
You probably have multiple screens.
That's my yeah.
Just drag it over.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm trying. Oh, it's not happening.
I see a mouse moving.
You see a mouse moving on the screen?
A resident, I got a president computer tech, so.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
There we go. It's almost there. There we go. And then, cool. And then we'll do the presentation, please. There we go.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And again, Mayor, thanks a lot for having us in today off the agenda, but a topic that we tried to bring to the city. My name's Brad Hartzell. I'm VP Manufacturing there at the plant. Stacy Burke Chesterfield, HR Director for Workhorse. I've been with that company 3 years. I'm originally from Anderson, Indiana, so nice to be back around home. So really what we've been talking with the mayor about was we make electric vehicles there. And how about we just say we make vehicles there? Right, I make class 3 all the way to class 6 vehicles. Right, we do a W4CC, a W750, W56, which is from our design ground up. Right, you see the step vans around the city every once in a while on test drives. That's our bread and butter, if you will, the larger vehicle. Targeted for, let's say, UPS, FedEx, things like that, et cetera, bigger fleets, right? So one of the things that we did as a patch between that before we started to do design for the 56 was the W4CC. So that's a hybrid kind of vehicle of, we buy that vehicle from Green Power. It's a base strip chassis or a cab chassis, and we do upfit on it kind of. We do about 99 part numbers onto that. We do a Metron, which is I say kind of like an Overwatch. We can see the maintenance of the vehicle, location of the vehicle, your state of charge, how much more electricity you have in the tank, right? So you don't have that anxiety. And so we can also monitor if you leave the 12-volt battery on overnight, and we can call you and we can say, hey, you left the 12 volt on, turn it off, you'll be dead in the morning, right? So you won't be able to start up. So we have those capabilities, right, to sell. Fleets can use those, right? You can get your efficiency tracking, your, if you will, your electrical mile per gallon or mile per electrical volt, right? Efficiency, etc. Here in the presentation, you see a couple different options on the W4CC platform. Utility bed, stake bed, step van, which is the W750, 750 cubic feet of storage on that one, 5,000 pound capacity, and a reefer or refrigerated body on that. What we had talked about was what could we do with the city? What would the city be able to use, right? We talked about a couple different options. One which seemed to hit home for, if you will, a landscaping or utility type package is a Rugby dump body package, and you see the specs there. It's a beautiful vehicle. They had that at the truck show last year in Indianapolis. NTA had it at the Rugby area, or one of the Kingsburg, I think, truck areas, and they had that on display. So it got a lot of activity there. So a good vehicle, good product with Rugby, and it's endured the test of times, right? So this was one option we looked at that the city might be able to use to say, hey, we build these vehicles, you know, we upfit them, we do different things here at Union City on this vehicle. How could that be used here? How can we get people employed at the plant, keep them employed at the plant, kind of serve the plant, and serve the community also, and do it as a stepping stone to say, if we got a vehicle in Union City, could we get a vehicle in Muncie? Could we get a vehicle at the fairgrounds? What can we do to plateau that out in the Midwest area, Indiana, Ohio, however, right? Thank you. Another option was aluminum flatbed. We drove the truck today. We built our own flatbed. It's sitting outside, right outside the building here, the W4CC, with a homegrown version, if you will, right out of Union City shop, right? This is a flatbed option, right? We kind of pivoted away from that after we said, what do we need to do here in Union City? So the proposal was the dump, the Rugby dump. So we kind of said this one's going to go on hold for right now. Next one, please. Mm-hmm. So what the thing?
Do you want to talk about the meeting that we had? So we had Brad Mink and his team came out to drive the vehicle to talk to us about what they would really use it for. And I think, you know, one of the number one things was when we're out picking up shrubs or brush and those kind of things. Like, we really, you know, our fleet's aging, as well as a few other options that we aren't able to do quite yet. But I think snow removal was one of them that they had talked heavily about. We're not quite there yet, but it's a stepping stone for us. So, but definitely using that out at the park, cleaning up the park. But Brad's team was out, spent probably, I don't know, 3-4 hours there, just looking the trucks over and
driving the trucks around.
Trucks,
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of excitement in the, hey, we built that here in Union City. We got people making it happen, going into the EV technology type thing, right? What we did with the proposal is, obviously we make trucks. How do you make money? You sell trucks. Right? It's just how business works, right? Otherwise, it's a philanthropy, and if you don't get donations, you run out of money, right? So what we did was we looked at the different scenarios with the dump truck or with the flat. We said, okay, let's go with the dump truck. Right now, there's a potential of a $40,000 type rebate. It's not an instant cash at receipt at the register rebate. It's after you apply, okay? And what we did is we said, hey, on the comparison of an internal combustion engine vehicle, which is about $79,000, we're willing to offer our 22 model year at about $75,000 for the base unit, right? Okay, so it's comparable in that average, right, if you're going to do that vehicle. Then with the upfit package, it goes to about $118,000, okay? So what we did was different scenarios, whether you leased, right? There would always be an option to buy, right, through a dealership. And the best way I can explain this, because I'm not a salesperson, I'm a manufacturing guy, base price is really on a 60-month lease is about $26,000 or $26,500. It's $26.50 a month. Okay. At the end of the 60 months, you pay $1 and you get the vehicle. Okay. Now you apply for the $40,000. You get that back, and if you want to average it in, then it goes to about 107 or 1,707, 17,750. Right. So it's really, if you put a budget together, it's about $2,600 a month. Okay. What I can do for Union City, because we're here, you can come charge at my place. I got fast chargers there during the day. I can give you a free slow charger, which means you're going to charge overnight. You just got to run your electrical to that in the shop, right? Okay, I can do that for you. That's within my powers, right? Okay, you got maintenance issues on it and stuff like that, bring it over to us. We can work on it right there. People don't get that access. We usually have to send field service out. A lot of things with these are about range anxiety. It's got a fuel meter on it just like a gas vehicle, right? You're gonna know how far you're gonna go. They got heated seats, you've got your power mirrors, you've got radios, all those things are in them, right? You can get 360 camera, you can get all these other great things, right? But that's all customizable later on. What we're looking at is how can we work together to get something going, right? So that was about the proposal today. And then obviously you buy a vehicle, you say, hey, I'm scared to death of the batteries, okay? What are they gonna be worth at the end of the time? I'm gonna spend all this money on batteries. Well, guess what? Warranty-wise, you get coverage on your battery starting out on your high voltage for 60 months, which is the same as your lease cost. That lease period, you can go up for about $108 a month. You get 96 months, okay? And for $135, you get 96 months, 200,000 miles on the vehicle, and a lot of other coverage. But that's all just like when you buy a truck, right? So these are options proposals we wanted to share with the group, right? Based on how we're gonna work together to keep going in the future, right? Be great to get one vehicle out here, be great to get two, right? I'm always about that, make more, whatever. Be great to get them in Richmond, Muncie, Anderson, etc., right? So.
Yeah, I wanted them to speak to you guys because I want you guys to be able to see firsthand what they have, what's possible, and for us to maybe start thinking differently about how we go about our fleet, because if they are in our backyard and there is something that they can make that would be beneficial for us and make sense, then I see an opportunity, because I really would love, like if we would go forward with this, I would love to see not only the flag and the Union City represent on the side of the truck, but I'd also like to see something regarding Workhorse. A product of Workhorse, and promote them, because I would like to see this at Winchester. I'd love to see this at the county. I'd love to see this in Dark County. I'd love to see this in the region. I'd love to see this throughout the country. If we can set the standard, because it's, in all fairness, I feel like we have a responsibility here, because it's like we want them to succeed. We should all want them to succeed, unless you're hateful by nature or vindictive or just whatever. But if we want them to succeed, but don't do anything to help support them, what are we really saying? And are we really doing everything we can to help them succeed? Because let's face it, they win, we win. So and I can speak to electric. Obviously, I can't speak to a work truck, but I can speak to electric vehicles as about as anybody you're going to come across, because I've been driving one for 3 years. I've been stranded by one when I first started, and it's because I had a Chevy Bolt. Not knocking Chevy at all, but it wasn't equipped to do long distance driving. The beauty about what they do and what they would be offering us, we don't do long distance driving. They're talking about dedicated routes with FedEx. With here, we'd be talking about milling around town. And yeah, you can use a little bit more energy on certain, heavy equipment, heavy hauling, but it's not as bad as one thinks. These vehicles are very intriguing the way they work. Whatever you think you know about electric vehicle, if you've not driven one, you don't know everything you think you know about electric vehicle. And I don't say that to be flippant or anything. I'm just being honest, because I realized I didn't know squat about electric vehicle. Their temperament is the opposite of gas. They love in-town driving. Our AstraZeneca and their global, being a billion-dollar company, they wanted to set the precedent, and so they wanted to go green. And so they went all electric with their fleet for all their sales reps across the world. And the bad thing is, a lot of us reps run long distance routes. We're out I drive 50,000 miles a year. And I actually FaceTime with a couple reps from Australia, because they found out, I was one of the first ones in the U.S. to have an electric vehicle, and they found out that I did. That's how word travels. And I actually FaceTime with them. It was the next day there for them. They were going to restart their day. I was ending my previous day. And they wanted to know about how it would handle in long distance terrain. I was like, ugh. Because they're not made for long distance yet. We will eventually. The technology will be there eventually. It's just not yet. But for city, they're spot on. Absolutely spot on. The stopping and going, that is like it regenerates the battery, and it actually, they love that. Whereas a gas vehicle, you want to get out and just drive and not stop. You know, you don't want that starting and stopping because that's hard on the mileage. So that's why for decades we saw better gas mileage with a vehicle on the highway than we do in the city. It's opposite with electric. So, so anyway, I think it's a good opportunity, and I want you guys to, my charge to you over the next 2 weeks is to vet this out. And I've charged Steve, I'll be honest with you, because I don't want to be adding to our fleet. I want us to see what we can get rid of and have this come in place of. So, because the people out there think, oh, they just keep buying, they keep purchasing it. No, we're not. We're trying to be smarter, though, and be efficient. So are there things we can get rid of and bring this into the mix and be better for it and help them in the process? Is that fair?
The biggest challenge I see at this point is the payload.
Mm-hmm.
Because the payload is about half of what our smallest truck hauls. And that's kind of the biggest challenge with that.
Yeah, that vehicle there about 5,000 pounds.
Yeah,
Right.
our lighter, we have three trucks in the range that are the lowest range of about 10,000 pounds payload.
Okay.
So that's probably one of the biggest challenges.
Sure. Our bigger vehicle will take that, but that's a big step van for us.
Yeah,
That's classified.
and that's a dump truck.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, so yeah.
you know, that's probably going to be one of the biggest challenges there is the available payload.
I don't know all these vocabulary words, but payload means what? The weight and
how much weight you can actually put in the vehicle, put in the bed, haul to a job.
do we
Usable load.
actually use the capacity of the vehicles? I mean, do we use?
We wouldn't for brush,
No, but gravel and sand's heavy.
but yeah, gravel and sand we would. So you'd have to have designation in that case. It would behoove us to know how much time we're hauling gravel and sand versus the amount of days we're hauling brush and other things. And that's not a me question. That'd be a Brad question.
And then the other thing's snow removal.
Yeah. And what are the prospects of that? What does that look like? If you had to guess, if you had a crystal ball.
I think you get the truck. I think you take it to town, to a good fab shop, and you buy a Western plow.
Okay.
And put it on there. My guys can't do it yet.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's not in their wheelhouse right now.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, I know there's people around here who could do it. So
Right.
it's just where I'm at.
Gotcha.
Any numbers on like fuel savings versus electric cost?
Yeah, it was, for a gasoline vehicle, it was 66 cents per mile. For this, it's basically for the same distance, it's 0.06 cents.
Wow.
If
So
you-
60 cent saving.
If you think about the drivetrain on this, right, it's battery to an electric motor,
Right.
spinning a prop shaft to a banjo axle. These are banjo axles on these, so it's kind of a mix. If you talk about electric vehicles, so you got rid of the transmission, you got everything in front, all that maintenance goes away, and you're changing brake pads, right, and you're checking your tires. You're right. We look at the battery usage at the end of the 8 years and say how many miles can you get on it. That's the biggest thing right now, right? And that's why we put the warranty out there and stuff like that. Say, hey, if you're really unsure about it, here's this that'll kind of get you a little farther along, right? You maintain your batteries. You run them down 10% before you charge them up. If you haven't drove them in a day, you run them down 10%. It balances out the cells, and then you charge them back up, right? Simple things like that will give you more longevity with your batteries. Okay.
We've been doing a real-time study on the life of these vehicles, and almost 70% savings on your maintenance and repairs in a 1 year time frame. So calculate that into your cost as well. 70% can, especially the more vehicles you have, that adds up more quickly, but 70% over a year is nothing to sneeze at.
We purchased a FedEx route in Lebanon, Ohio. We've ran it for 2 years. It's got about 7 of our vehicles there, right? Just ran through peaks and everything else, right? Keeps going, just so we had real world data. So
If you need any mayors or council members to write letters of support to FedEx, by the way, we would be glad to do
Thank you.
that.
Appreciate it.
Seriously.
yeah.
So,
How about cold weather issues?
What we run into is we'll go out to the yard and start them up to do charging. We might get sometimes where I have to start them up twice, just like you're powering up your 12 volt if you haven't started in a while, right? We charge them every 90 days. if they're sitting out there, right? That's about all I've got off of it, besides sitting in a lot, getting the tires really hard and frozen, right, and moving them around. That's what I've seen with the vehicles we have, right? So
With mine, my capacity peaked. With my Chevy Bolt, my capacity was 272 in July and August. It was 172 in the coldest day of the year last year when it was like net below zero. So it dropped 100 miles in capacity. But it still had 172 miles capacity. I'd be shocked, and Tim is well versed with Board of Works and served graciously for a long time. He'd be better than I would in terms of how many miles they cover in a day's time, but I'll be shocked if they've ever covered 172 miles.
You'd almost be better to equate it in hours than you would miles.
Yeah, right.
The way they-
And that's what's surprising, because I mean, I'll sit and do conference calls and Zoom calls in my car with it running. And you would expect the battery to drop. It doesn't. Just running, just sitting there running doesn't make it drop precipitously or anything of that nature. And believe it or not, air conditioning doesn't affect it much. Or is there air conditioning on this? Okay.
there's heat and air in them.
Air doesn't affect mine either. It's running the heat full blast that affects it the most. I don't know what you see.
When I do a rundown, when I do my 10% drop, even in the summer, I'll blast the heat because it'll drop it quicker.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's just how it is.
So is
Yeah.
you doing is that an electric resistance heat, or are you using a heat pump?
That vehicle, I'll have to check. I don't want to misspeak, right? I can't remember.
Because the resistance heat always
Yeah.
burns a lot of
Sure.
power out.
Yeah.
Heat pumps are going to run just like the air conditioning.
Right. Any other questions? Good questions. Well, I sure appreciate your
Yeah,
big
thank you.
time. And so next meeting, like I said, I'll have it on the agenda if you don't mind, Amy, for us to have it on the agenda, so for us to reconvene on
This one of these?
And what's that, Bob?
Kind of, he asked if we could replace a pickup.
I was thinking
with
the
one
same
of these.
thing too.
Just a
It's
regular
kind of
pickup?
in between, yeah. It's you could
That's more, 5,000 pounds is pickup time.
Yeah.
you could probably more accurately you could replace
I mean,
something
the
like
idea
our
for motor
utility.
workhorse is
Yeah.
a good one,
Yeah, I appreciate
but
that.
it's gotta be.
It's gotta be practical, yeah,
Yeah, it's gotta be practical.
yeah.
Such as the utility truck that Will's driving. Will's driving now. I think Zach used to drive all the time, but
Mhm.
it's a crew cab, 1-ton crew cab with a utility bed on it, something like that. Certainly could be.
do the utility bed instead of the dump bed.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
potentially, yeah. That's kind of where I perceive it. Because like I said, the biggest problem is like we put a salt spreader in it with a plow on it, and
Could be hurting.
we're pushing capacity on a
What about,
certainly a 15,000 GVW truck is our the one truck, that 5500 GMC is a 19,000 GVW, and they push it at that point.
could you ever see a lift bucket being attached to one of these?
There's been people propose that, right? I don't know the mass on that type of thing, right?
Mhm.
But there's always potential for them, right?
We're looking at a crane, so.
Yeah. So
Cause
I
that
wouldn't
would
see
be,
why you couldn't.
yeah, that would be really, well, I'm kind of biased in that sense. because-
Well, see,
hard
the
to
thing
control.
is that you'd be obviously running off the battery and a lot of those systems, I think the dual wheel truck that you use all the time, I think it's all electric, isn't it?
No, you have to run the engine to
I
run
mean,
it.
well, you gotta run the engine, but no, it does have a pump, but a lot of those are all electric.
Oh, I see, on the
and-
arm
on the-
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
So you could run an all-electric bucket truck with that. Of course, obviously, as you're sitting stationary, the drive motor's not moving. That's of course,
Right.
that like when you say when you're running, you've got it on, but your drive motor's not running. It's
Right.
sitting there,
Yeah,
it's not moving,
correct.
as opposed to an engine in your car that's running all the
Correct.
time when you're on. So
Well, you guys have this truck sitting out here, correct?
it is, yeah.
We don't have any new business. Well, actually, you do have one thing you want to
yeah,
cover.
do we want to present that at this point? I don't know.
Is it okay to hold?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's hold on that, and then if you guys don't mind, we'll wrap up the meeting. We want to make sure we open up the floor.
Yeah.
and then we can all go out and take a look at the truck. You guys can see it. So, thank you.
Absolutely,
guys.
thank you very much.
All right, so, our department reports, I don't have anything at the moment, but Amy, do you have anything?
Well, the last of the paperwork for the owner occupied grant, that was
Mhm.
all sent over for submission last week, so I think they're well on their way, hopefully to get that approved. And then just about everything, with the exception of one item right now, is done on the annual report, so,
Okay, great job.
yeah, so it's.
You've been burning the candle at both ends.
It's been a couple late nights.
That's an understatement. As we come through Friday evening, was it late, or was it over the week, or Saturday? It was probably both.
But,
It's like, yeah, Gina was like, well, Amy's vehicle's there, she's, okay, well, thank you. Council members, Tito?
Yeah, I have two questions. One is that I see, and we've spoken about this in the past, right? That we're paying utilities here for Roots Deli. So the
We're
question,
not paying the utilities.
I see.
Is it showing utilities for that still?
yes,
Ohio
it
Valley
is.
Gas Corp.
And they're still being billed, but they've not
They're
switched
being
over to their
billed.
name.
So we're billing them, the billing's in our name, but we're billing them.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it was my understanding that they were going to switch over, but they're still, the bills are still coming to us.
Oh, I see. So we're recuperating this expense. They're paying us for the utilities, even
Well, we are billing them for the.
we're billing them.
Yes.
But that doesn't say that they're paying.
Are they behind a
paying?
month?
No, no.
Yeah. I think at some point, you know, I don't know how long it's been or something, but at some point we need to sort of cut that, do a doge. Cut it.
Have they paid their last lease payment, made their last lease payment?
No, they're currently 2 months behind on that as
Okay.
well.
All right.
Totally agree.
So we need to start thinking about how to manage this kind of thing because, I mean, people don't like it. It's an unfair advantage for,
Right.
you know, one business owner who is not really operating in Union City. And the understanding is that, well, I don't know, rumor has it or the information running around is that they're using the Union City space here and the utilities to produce all the food that they sell in Richmond. And so that seems to be a little bit beyond the pale for me, at least when they were operating in Union City and, you know, they contributed to the life in downtown. I mean, I'm like, well, okay. I mean, it's doing some good for the city. But at this point, it's not. So we need to, I don't know.
Well, I don't disagree. They need to get up to date with their payments. But at the same time, they are still selling food here. People are picking up meals here. And I know that because we had a preservation meeting Saturday and he had customers walk in and pick up to-go meals.
Okay.
So
So
you can order to-go meals through them
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away from the fact
Right.
that
Yeah,
they need to
and
be
that's
up to
probably not
speed.
getting out to the public enough, so.
Yeah, they need to be up to
Right.
speed with their,
Yeah.
but
So my second question is about Vision Corner, and as I was rereading the minutes from the previous meeting, it helped me to better understand the situation with regard to the ready grant funds. In the minutes, we use the verb resubmit, which I find troubling. Have we already submitted all of our invoices, like proof of expenses, for at least the Ready One part? That's my question.
Yeah.
yeah.
Chad
Okay.
can
Yeah,
So
it was recent.
we've submitted all those, okay? So my understanding was from what you said
We're
last time.
literally waiting on a check.
So, okay, so, oh, I see. So,
The
but
ready-
we're
yeah, the
waiting
ready
for.
one check,
Yeah.
the second ready one check,
Yes,
actually.
correct.
But then you probably have
And there's,
some resubmitting because of the fact of this juggling back and forth. that-
correct.
So my understanding was
for
that
the ready two then.
HWC is who is managing the grant funds or the reporting
Correct.
for to get the
The
next
IEDC.
tranche for all of 8 or however many counties.
9 counties.
Or 9 counties are participating. Have they gotten there? Or have they submitted it to, up to? I guess I want to know.
Some have and some haven't. That's why we're only at 45%. We
Okay.
just had a call like last week. As a region, we're only at 45%
Got it.
to the amount of funds that have been dispersed for Ready 1. And to release any Ready 2.0 funds to the region, 9 counties, the region has to be to 65%
Right.
threshold.
So is there anything we do like not just the county over? What's up, y'all?
How long
get
have you
it
been in government?
Not too long.
Trust me, if I could have the dollars already sitting in our account, trust me, we would.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, again, and the folks with, and by the way, I got information here. It says, Mr. Livingston's happy to come to the next meeting. He takes this very seriously.
Okay.
So, he's obviously watching us. So, appreciate you, man. So that would be great. So I'll have him address.
But, and I'll just throw in a little bit of just general knowledge on this, is that there's a lot of these projects, people have plans in place or things going, but we were far in advance on our project, so it seems like, we were ready to go. Well, a lot of these projects didn't really start materializing until the grant was even offered and so
Correct.
forth. So these, and if you get into complicated issues with planning and engineering, and you look at how long did we spend putting together the wastewater
Good grief.
plant rehab
Yeah.
and rebuild infrastructure. I mean, it was literally years.
Yeah.
And probably what we're up against is a lot of these projects are not ready to go.
Right. They're not.
And so ready kind of becomes a little bit of a misnomer on that, because the projects aren't ready for the grant. The grant's ready, but the project's not.
Exactly. And then to add complication matter, there is a window in which you have to have the work done
Yeah.
to acquire them.
Right.
So I mean, it's
And we're ahead of that.
yeah,
We're ahead of that.
So,
Okay.
And we're getting caught out because everybody else is behind it.
yeah.
Enough people are behind it. So we've performed, others haven't, and we're getting penalized for it. Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
that's very well
I like
put.
to try to
So,
plain
yeah,
language those things, but we've
Yeah, no,
performed,
that's-
others haven't,
Yeah.
we're getting the penalty.
Yeah, because we were in line to get Ready 2.0 funds, but they're not there yet because we're not at the threshold.
I
So Trevor went back, Brian Sheehan and a couple others were pressing them to say, hey, we've got other projects, he was talking about ours, that's already ready. It's already in process. It's already up and running.
yeah.
It's like, fund them. And so they went back to IEDC and said, hey, can we switch funds around from Ready 2.0 to Ready 0.1 for this project so we can get it funded so we can hit our threshold? So that's what they've done, but now we're waiting.
But we're still
Okay.
way beyond, we're still off from the threshold amount then.
Yeah, well, we would help get them a good chunk of the way there.
Okay, that's why
'Cause
we're
we
how
got-
far away that
we got-
is.
15 million for the first Ready 1.0, the region did.
Yeah.
And so our project alone would help get them just about the 65%. I think it was 62.
If that would
but
get it to the threshold, that would be,
yeah, because then that opens up Ready
because then
2.0.
it'll already open up.
So that would help us and everybody else at the same time.
I'd be curious to see what the other districts are like on that. I know you probably don't have that
It's
information.
maddening because Kokomo, I'd heard, already had Ready 2.0 funds dispersed, which means they hit their threshold.
threshold.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a different reason.
Yeah, it's a different region. Yeah. So it depends on where you're at.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thanks.
No, that's fine. Tim?
Not a whole lot other than just a reminder that the downtown cruise-in's coming up June 7th, the
Awesome.
first, June 7th and September 13th. We had a great turnout last year, both events. Of course, we had fantastic weather, both events too.
Amen.
So we really had good shows. Had a lot of community out, thank everybody that came out, and hope everybody had a good time and enjoyed it. We look forward to doing the same thing this spring and in the fall. We are adding a feature. We are adding valve cover racing. Now,
That's
everybody says,
awesome.
what in the heck is valve cover racing? It's think Pinewood Derby on a little bit larger scale, like the Boy Scouts have always done. And you build a car like this. This is a car that belongs to Eugene Thomason. Who,
That is awesome.
right after we decided to do this, Eugene jumped in and built his car within no time, because that's Eugene. So,
What a surprise.
so of course, I'm nowhere near this. I'll be the last night putting mine together. But anyway, it's basically there's some basic rules, anybody that has interest, Eugene's published the rules on the Facebook page for Downtown Cruise-In. Rules are real simple: no longer than 30 inches, no wider than 15 inches, no taller than 10 inches. Front bumper height no taller than 2 inches, cannot weigh over 10 pounds, and no motors.
That's awesome.
Wheels can be inside, outside, various things. There's some other rules that other clubs do, but we're keeping ours pretty simple. The track does not exist yet, but will be a track that's roughly 18 inches wide, two side-by-side 18-inch tracks, about 25 feet long, with I can't tell you what the degree fall is on this, but we have some interest in a number of people interested in building cars, but we also have a couple of people have shown some interest in building some extra cars, so we're hoping to have a few extra cars for kids to be able to participate that don't have a car and take runs. We do have some plans for trophies for these and participation ribbons, because it's a really good kid activity. And so our preliminary plan is to set this up in the Broadway lot. If it's either going to be in the Broadway lot or it's going to be over here in the park, depending on which, we're not sure which way we want to go with that. It's a little bit complicated here this spring because we do have a band that night, which is fantastic.
That's awesome.
So we're going to have great music, but we got to watch our space a little bit, so it might not fit in the park this spring. But we're really looking forward to it. Hope people at least show up to check it out, and we kind of plan on doing this as a long haul. So anybody has any questions, they can look at the Facebook page. They can contact me at the lumberyard. They can contact Eugene or any of the other club members.
That is outstanding.
Looking forward to a great event this spring.
That is brilliant.
Rain or shine.
That is awesome. Well, you guys picked the best times of year you possibly could.
Well,
June and September usually are drier months.
They're
compared to-
drier, and we've been fortunate with that, and it's just been a great event.
Yeah, you guys
so
are
far.
phenomenal. You guys have done outstanding. And cars and coffee, is that, when is that normal?
April, second Saturday in April.
Oh, so June, it'll be the following Saturday, is that right?
Yeah, I think, let's see.
'Cause I'm just trying to plan ahead, just thinking.
Yeah,
The
your
first
second
one
Saturdays.
isn't on second Saturday.
What's that?
The first one isn't on
It's
second
not on second
Saturday, but
Saturday.
the other one is.
Yeah, the other one is.
So September 13th is the second Saturday?
Right.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
Which the last fall we had Cars and Coffee was
Right.
the day, was the morning of,
Right.
and
All day.
we had a number of people participate in both events. They started at your event and came to our
So we
event.
could do that this year too,
And
September 13th.
So September we'll have the same
Cool.
thing, and
That's awesome. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Jason?
I just had, we had an area planning meeting last Wednesday, the 19th. The trails plan was presented at that. Obviously, the trails are there to, want to be put in place to connect following or neighboring communities and towns, your Saratogas, Winchesters, etc. That was voted against as a no. We needed 7 favorable to pass. We got 5. Reasons: money, it's quite costly, safety concerns, and then a lot of people just didn't like the idea of having these trails around or near their properties.
In the country.
Right, correct.
So I'm hopeful, since our trail plan has been ready for quite some time, I'm hopeful that maybe if the committee switches gears and heads in a different direction, that Union City will be maybe the one that they will fund instead. So, but we'll see. since we're shovel ready.
Right.
So, well, thank you.
Yep.
Bob?
I don't have anything.
Gary?
Nothing.
I hope you get to feeling better.
Thanks.
Any visitors wishing to address the board, please stand, state your name, address, and nature of business. Yes?
Do I do up there, or?
Sure, you can. Sound like me when you get up.
Bad knees. Jim Nunez Jr., 528 South Main, Winchester. Back to that meeting, I just want to commend your mayor for a good presentation. And as a good speaker, he even dropped the mic.
I didn't literally drop the mic.
He, after his speech, I didn't have a chance. I was going to go up there, being the president of tourism. I was going to give a speech, but after he dropped the mic, I said I didn't want to go up there to give my 2 cents. But after he put a nickel on it, I didn't have a chance. But anyway, I just wanted you guys to know you have a great mayor to give his presentation, and it was awesome. It was awesome. And I didn't want to ruin it by giving mine, because after his presentation, I thought it was going to pass. I really did. And it didn't go that way, but it's the second chance going up there. I think it will, people was, they just didn't know all the facts. In my heart, after being up there, they didn't know all the facts that goes into this, because this has been going on for several years, and they were just hung up on certain minus stuff, but that's okay. That that committee, after I talked to one of the co-chairmen, they're going to go back at it, just like your mayor said, and he brought in a lot of good information, but that's what we're here for. Good debates, and I thought it was a very good debate. But like I said, typical Union City is once you do the mic thing, you're done. You're done. So I wish we had that on video, which I don't know, it might be there's a video, but you should be very proud of this man right here. I just couldn't go back up there and give my 2 cents after that nickel drop. I couldn't do it. But anyway, I'm here on, like I said, I also represent tourism for Randolph County. And one of the things that you guys will have 2 ladies that was, they're on our staff, Janet, well, she goes by 2 names, but I can't remember right now. She works at your office here in front.
Oh, Jeanette.
Yeah. Escobar.
Yeah.
Let's go with that one. And Mrs. Shoemaker, she's also going to be representing to you. So on March the 8th, out here at the 4-H ground, there's going to be the expo. And for everybody to come out there and come for the expo, this is going to be here's where at the expo you have all these booth space and businesses and everything from all over the county and beyond, and to come and see what everybody has to offer. And as tourism, our booth will be there for any information that you need for tourism for Randolph County. So if you guys, and I told Ms. Escobar that if you have anything here for the future, like the car show or anything here for Union City, I know that Saratoga is going to be celebrating at the Lions Club 75 years of existence and 150 for Saratoga itself. And I know you guys always celebrate something here in Union City. Mm-hmm. If nothing of just the mayor going over and dropping a mic, and anything else. I'll never forget that. I'm glad I was there. But anything, like I said, if you guys have anything that we can have to pass out about Union City, Indiana, or Ohio, we just give it to us. Just give it to us, and we'll be glad to pass that out there at the expo. In short, that's one of the things that we have to do is communicate, because there's a lot about Randolph County that we love to do, and so we have a lot of things. The other thing too, since I don't belong to enough organizations, in Winchester, they're going to be the Now and Then, the movie that was made about Winchester. Of course, they called it, and I've told you guys this before, they called it Shelby in the movie instead of Winchester. But anyway, that's going to be June the 24th through the 29th, just before your hot rod thing there. Valve covers, wow, that is something else. But anyway, that's a big production, movie stars. So on the 29th is a big Tom Bigelow race here in Winchester too. I contacted the Coke company because in this movie, the Coke company is blasted 7 times. This movie is an hour and 42 minutes long. I should know because I've already seen the movie 7 times. And there's a lot of good stuff in there. Yeah, I know it's a chick flick, but it's a good, wholesome, it tells you about camaraderie. And that's how I feel about our towns. All of our towns here in Randolph County is about camaraderie. We have friends, other than families and stuff. It's how we did it when we were young, and the things we used to do, and it even goes into sports when we challenge each other and stuff. You remember these kind of things. So that's why I back this Now and Then deal. And we're going to try and make it, this is the 30-year annual for this movie to have been out since 1995, and this is about 1970. And it's a good thing that we're trying to do. And then I'm going to be going around with a committee to go to all the towns and show this movie to all the towns. We're going down a building or something, show this movie, and everybody can bring their own popcorn or whatever, and just show the camaraderie. It's a PG-13 because the language and the smoking of Marlboro cigarettes and the drinking of light cold beer and a lot of drinking of Coca-Cola. And a lot of riding the bicycles. So anyway, that's what I'm here today. And but mostly because I just love this man and dropping the mic.
Thank you. Hey, Jim?
Yes.
How much did Chad pay you to say this?
I know, because in all honesty, I saw him, and he mentioned Rosie, so if you don't mind, please keep Rosie's dad, or Rosie, in your prayers, and Steve in your prayers, because Rosie's lost her father.
Which is our cousin.
Yes, and we saw each other at the viewing, and he was saying, he was very sweet, said something to me about it. I said, well, if I was actually that good, it would have passed, because he voted it down. But it was a rather, everybody in the room was farmers, and all of them were pretty much against. So, but it's a country we live in, so that's the beauty of it.
Not all.
Well, yeah, not all, but a chunk. Yeah, so it was, but it was democracy at work, like you said. So that's the beauty of it. Anybody else? Yep.
Susan Linder, 504 South Plummer Street, Unison, Indiana. I just have a quick question. I just want to know who's on the redevelopment.
That would be myself, Greg Harshman, Rick Lacey, Luciano Banda, and Brandon Elmore.
Oh, I thought it was some council.
No.
When did they meet?
It's posted on the front window. Has been for.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I needed.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I think it's the
Two
third.
of them from last time. That's all I
It's the third Wednesday of each month.
You're wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anybody else? If not, next meeting is Monday, March 10th at 6 p.m. And the Board of Public Works meeting is also Monday, March 10th at 1:45 p.m. I would hereby entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a first, we have a second.
I'll second.
Everybody in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Meeting adjourned.